Hello, everyone, and welcome to our podcast. This is JB.
And I'm Chandler, and this is the Unbiased Hard Take.
And on today's Unbiased Hard Take, me and JB, we got a little bit of football, a little bit of basketball for you guys today on today's episode. So we're going to dive right on in. JB, the scouting combine wrapped up. We promised the people last week that we would give some scouting combine coverage. JB, what is one thing from the NFL scouting combine that you want to talk about? What do you think of the scouting combine as a whole, on what you watched and the tape you watched and whatnot?
Well, I'm kind of disappointed that Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr. did not show up to the combine. I really wanted to see them at work, actually dealing with the like the NFL combine and how they I want to say put under pressure, but put their skills to the next level. And I did not see that by them. But I guess that's what normally happens if you already know that you're going to be the first pick overall and the second pick overall. So it's a trending thing. But like I said this before, I see great things happening for Xavier Worthy. And like I said before in the last podcast, he beat the record by 4.21 by 0.01 seconds. And also, if you've seen it, well, not the year before, but when Calvin Austin the third did it, they kind of screwed up his time. Because if you go in slow mo, you'll see that he crossed the 40-yard mark way before his basically he got a 4.08 and they still marked it as a 4.2 something. So like I said, it was, but that's in the past. But he holds the record, and he showed great talent with the vertical, the board, just basically everything in general. He showed great potential, and one person that I actually really thought that they did really good was Kool-Aid, Mr. Kool-Aid. I forgot his last name. Probably should have it up here, but he showed really potential. Not, I want to say not very fast when it comes to in that aspect, but his catching is very good. I'm still trying to find all of his. I'm looking at all the people that actually participated here, and I cannot find Mr. Kool-Aid. Dang. Anyways, he did really good with the cones, the 3-cone drill. So I thought that was really nice. But the one QB that I thought was amazing is, what is his name? I did have it right on top of my tongue.
Michael Penix Jr. He had a decent combine.
No, not him.
Oh, Nix. I watched tape at him. He had probably, in my opinion, I'll get into this later, but the best combine in my opinion. JJ McCarty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, JJ McCarty was really good. Man, what is his name?
You think so?
No, I'm talking about I forgot his name. I think it's Michael Penix.
From Washington?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Michael Penix Jr.
Yeah. But I think he he did he did really good. Especially his deep balls and everything that he threw. I think it was Michael Penix.
I mean, I gave Michael Penix a B plus on my grade board, so I thought he had a pretty good combine. I'll get into that in a bit later.
But yeah, he threw that ball, the deep ball, really really nice. So
He's a pure thrower of the football. That's what I've
Mhm.
seen. I have it right here. I watched some of his tape. I watched actually all Bo Nix, J.J. McCarty, Michael Penix Jr.'s, and that was all because Caleb Williams didn't throw, and I'll get into that. So I watched the main quarterbacks throw the football.
Mhm.
For me, Bo Nix had the best combine. I looked. He had one incompletion on an outside route. I watched
Mhm.
the receiver work the out toward the out of bounds. It's kind of like an out route. And he had one incompletion there, but overall, he has a lot of games played in college. One of the most of all time. He's played multiple years in college. I think had a good workout. I gave him an A. Pretty good deep ball. He had a couple incompletions, but he has a really nice deep ball. You see that strong arm. I think he has good technique. Michael Penix Jr. I gave a B plus. He's a pure throw of the football, but I worry about accuracy issues at times because when I'm watching the combine, I don't want to see the ball hit the ground. And I've seen a couple of those with Michael Penix Jr., but he has a really strong arm. He has a good foundation. He'll be a dual threat as well. But the
Mhm.
player I actually thought was disappointing was J.J. McCarty. I gave him a D. He was really good short. Short passes were great, I watched, but he struggled with outside throws. He has a pretty ball, but he had multiple balls hit the ground. These guys are just simply they're not being guarded. There's cones out there. It's a training session. If you're a first round draft pick prospect, you should complete those passes. I don't want to see a lot of balls hit the ground. When I watched McCarty, I've seen a lot of balls hitting the ground. I didn't see that with Bo Nix and with Michael Penix Jr. I did not. McCarty, I did. I think McCarty more so is a third or fourth round pick. I think he benefited from Harbaugh, Michigan, their running game. They have one of the best running games in the country.
Mhm.
McCarty, look at him in the national championship game. I said it back then. He was a game manager. He managed the game. McCarty's is a draftable quarterback. He's third, fourth round though. He's not a first round talent to me.
Hmm.
Bo Nix is. I mean, he looked good. He has a lot. He's been in college multiple years. I think I read he has over 60 games started in college. That's insane. He's played over 60 games.
Mhm.
That's a crazy amount of games. He's been in college a long time. So he has the experience. He had a really good combine, good at deep ball. Penix Jr., I think a lot of his stock will depend on where he lands. I think if he goes somewhere dysfunctional, like New England, a team that doesn't know how to do offense at all, look how horrible they developed Mac Jones. Good Lord. Jesus
Mhm.
Mary. And they hired another defensive coach. I'm not a fan of that. So if he goes somewhere like that, I don't think he'll do well. But if he goes somewhere like Atlanta, I think that's a good fit for him. They have a lot of good offensive weapons. So with Penix, I think a lot of it depends on where he goes.
Right. But no, the other person that I thought he showed great potential is Joe Milton the third.
Joe Milton III had a good combine.
I do believe he had a way better combine. His deep throws, especially his deep throws accuracies. Like he put that he put that ball on the money every time. And he's going to be a dual threat. But he threw the ball far too. Threw the ball far, accurate. His short was also good. I really didn't see any um, horrible throws. Any bad throws that he thrown short, medium. I think he did very amazing as well.
I didn't claim to have watched his tape because I watched a 5-minute YouTube video. I don't count that as tape. The other guys I watched at least 20 minutes on. With McCarty, he easily was the worst combine. I agree with you with what I saw from
Mhm.
him, the guy you were referring to. I watched, yeah, but with McCarty, I watched 20 minutes of film on him. Man, that was bad.
Yeah,
Now with
it's
Caleb Williams, you kind of brought up that quarterbacks don't throw, like Marvin Harrison Jr. didn't participate either. 2 top round picks. It's become a new thing. Do you think that's a red flag? I was going to talk about Caleb Williams a little bit. I mean, I think it's a red flag. I'm not a Caleb Williams fan. I think he's going to be a bust.
um I do believe it's going to be one of those, like, if you don't show up at the combine, I mean, I think it is kind of a red flag in a way. Um just because you're not showing what the scouts what your potential is now. I mean, yes, you have tape to prove that you're like in college tapes, but how's that gonna work? So, I mean, that's college. I mean, we're doing NFL here. Um, because they never see how the farthest you jump, how high you jump, um, how good your hands are. It's just and also how fast you are. And it's like, I mean that's one of the things, because most of these drills in the combine is what you'll be doing in an NFL practice. Some of them, like the 3 cone drill, catching, throwing, like all that stuff. So, I mean, to me, it's kind of a red flag, but we'll see.
I absolutely think red flag. You haven't accomplished anything in the NFL, and you're not throwing. And Caleb Williams already has a lot of distractions. You have the nail thing. He cried in the stands. He had a couple really bad performances, in my opinion. His backup came in and won a bowl game. And had really good numbers in that bowl game that Caleb Williams didn't even play in the bowl game. He sat out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's kind of a flaky teammate. Who bails on their teammates like that? You have a
Right.
chance to win a college bowl game and you sit out. I know it's a trend now, but I don't like that leadership. I don't like his camp kind of leaked a little bit. They don't want to go to Chicago. A lot of outside noise. Caleb Williams denies it, but it's a mess. This dude's accomplished nothing. He's a distraction guy. I think he's going to be a disaster. A disaster. That's my prediction. He's going to be a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you to miss the combine? Marvin Harrison Jr. He doesn't have the off the field distractions, and he has
No,
the bloodline to prove it. He could be a good player. But with Caleb Williams, who are you? Like, who do you think you are? I don't get it.
I don't get it either. But we'll see what the actual when the draft comes, and we'll have training day, and we'll probably have tape on him, so we'll see what he's like.
Me and JB will be releasing a mock draft at some point. That's far down the road, of course, a couple weeks away, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
So be prepared for that. Me and JB are going to go to topic 2 here. We're going to stay in the topic world of the NFL. JB, the Broncos cut, not traded, cut Russell Wilson. They are eating $85 million in dead cap. That's an NFL record. That was a sports fact of the day the other day. Go check that out on our Facebook page. It'll be in the description down below. That, JB, what team do you think is the best fit for Russell Wilson and why?
Well, there are 5 teams right now that, actually, no, 6 teams kind of, that needs a quarterback. I'm gonna say this. One of them is the Steelers. Everyone thinks that we need a quarterback. I don't think we need a quarterback, but if anything goes south with Kenny Pickett, because like I said, Kenny Pickett had Matt Canada as the offensive coordinator, and he was horrible. I mean, we all knew Matt Canada was horrible. And the day after, or the week after, Matt Canada got fired, and we got our running back assistant to be our offensive coordinator. Look what he did. He had over 300 yards. First time in his career had over 300 yards. His completion was good. The offense looked amazing. And then the next week, he got hurt. He got hurt. And now we have Arthur Smith, and we seen how he did with Ryan Tannehill. He was one of the best quarterbacks in the league at that point. And they had the best running game, best offensive line. The whole entire offense was like ranked top 3 in the NFL that year. So if you put that with perspective of putting Matt Tannehill as one of the elite quarterbacks, think about what he can do with Kenny Pickett. But saying if anything goes south, I heard that there's going to be Justin Fields is probably going to be a Steeler, which I really don't want. I don't want that at all. I mean, what
he has completion problems now.
He does, but will
he has completion problems?
Yeah, I mean, he really can't. I feel like he can't read the defense. If anything goes south, if he feels like one pressure, he runs. But when the time comes when he actually sees an open person, well, not all of the time, three-fourths of the time. Well, not to say 3/4. Very little times that there's a person wide open, he makes the throw. And there's some pretty nice throws that he throws, and they actually catch it. And he actually puts it on the money and all that type of stuff. I see potential in Justin Fields.
Mm-hmm. Yes. But
everyone's saying that he needs an offensive line. He doesn't have good receivers. Well, he had good receivers, and you guys drafted all these offensive line in the draft, and you had no excuse, and they still sucked. So, and then there's Kirk Cousins. We heard Kirk Cousins is going to probably be in one of the talks. I don't think Russell Wilson is not going to be a good fit either for the Steelers. I do believe it's either going to be the Vikings or the Patriots.
Russell Wilson, Patriots, really? Okay, why?
Well, you see how trouble their quarterback is. Mac Jones is horrible. Bailey Zappi's horrible. Their third, I don't even know who their third string is, but when he played horrible. So they are in a quarterback situation, just like the Steelers, just like the Vikings, and the Falcons and the Raiders. Those are the top 5 teams, and the Steelers. I think I already said the Steelers. But those 5 teams are in need of a quarterback. So who do you think would be a better fit? The Vikings would be a good fit for Russ Wilson because they got Justin Jefferson. Who is the young receiver? The other young receiver that they have, Madison. They got Madison, and they got a good run game. So if you put him in the mix with that, I mean, it's going to be, I think it's going to be a good fit. And also when I think...
And it's Jordan Addison. He had 10 touchdowns, almost 1,000 yards.
Addison. Not Madison. Addison. Sorry. My fault. But yeah.
Didn't want to cut you off.
And but in the Patriots, I mean, they really don't have good receivers. Not really.
Oh.
But in a way, it still fits with the Russell Wilson. And I want to say he can put bad receivers to make them good. Because, I mean, look at Tyler Lockett after Russell Wilson got traded. I mean, look at all the receivers that he had before, and they and when he got traded, look how they turned out.
Lockett had around 800 yards this year. It wasn't a horrible year. Year before that, he had 1,000 though.
But with Russell Wilson,
Yeah, it was multiple 1,000-yard seasons. You're correct.
so he's putting, and then now with Tyler Lockett being a mediocre receiver now, and you have putting Russell Wilson. He has Juju. No, do they have Juju still? Yeah, I think they do. I don't have the New England. Excuse me. I don't have the Patriots roster, but I do believe they still have Juju Smith-Schuster,
Yes, they do.
and he's a good receiver. I don't know who's the other receivers on the Patriots, but
They don't have any. That's the problem. They don't
Yeah.
have any offensive talent. I said that when the season was going. I made that prediction. I forget what week it was, but I'm on record saying on the podcast that they need to start over totally. They don't have any offensive talent.
so in a way to restart, to have a elite quarterback to run it and have young receivers around him. I mean, it'd be a good fit. And my other one is the Falcons. Because look what they have. They have Drake London. They have Kyle Pitts. Even though Kyle Pitts hasn't really been developing throughout the years, he's been absolutely
Have not.
horrible. But I feel like he really hasn't been targeted though. So, with that being said,
I just don't think truly he was as athletic and as good and as all the hype that he was made out to be. I've watched some tape on him in multiple seasons now. He's been hurt, I just don't think he was all that.
no, I don't think so either. But he does have the potential. But what a good way to actually have an elite quarterback to actually target everybody. I mean, that's probably, I want to say one of Russell Wilson's big targets is the tight ends. But I mean, like I said, you still have Kyle Pitts, and you have that sophomore running back, Bijan Robinson, in the backfield for you with you. So, I mean, do you have a good athletic secondary and running or receiver core and a running back? I mean, Falcons would be a good fit for him too.
You know, I like a lot of those. The New England one kind of gets me off, but the team I obviously think it's a good fit for is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Here's why. You gotta look at the draft board too. I think Pittsburgh needs to happen. That would make Pittsburgh a Super Bowl contender, and I'll explain. Look at Russell Wilson. People make fun of him a little bit, but last season, 3,070 yards, 26 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 98 QBR. Much improved. Much improved. Let's look and see the Pittsburgh Steelers starting quarterbacks. Combined. Trubisky, Mason Rudolph, and Kenny Pickett combined for 13 touchdowns. 13 compared to 26 for Russ. What could Pittsburgh do with 13 more touchdowns, JB? A lot.
Oh, I know.
Let's look at interceptions. Denver, Russell Wilson last year, 8 interceptions. Combined, Trubisky had 5, Mason Rudolph had 0, Kenny Pickett had 4, so 9 combined interceptions for all 3 quarterbacks for the Steelers. That's also more than my boy Russ here. Russell Wilson's getting paid. He's an $85 million dead cap hit. Broncos be paying that money. So he does not want to demand a big contract. He might even sign for a close to veteran minimum or slightly above it, I would say probably, for respect to who he is. I mean, he's won a Super Bowl. He's played elite level for over 10 years. I don't think he's what he used to be, but I don't think Kenny Pickett's the answer. I hate to tell you that, my friend. I think this is a great opportunity for Pittsburgh to snag a quarterback here with a good offensive coordinator, like you said, and Arthur Smith, and be able to go a little farther than they have been. Actually win some playoff games. Because you look also The draft order, that matters. Where's Pittsburgh rank? 20th pick in the draft. I don't think New England will pick a quarterback in free agency. Their third pick, they'll draft one. I think Atlanta does as well at 8. They could possibly move up. Minnesota, I think, makes sense. They're 11. But Pittsburgh at 20, there's just not going to be a probable first-round quarterback there when they get to finally pick. So I think that has a lot to do with it. Unless they have faith in Mason Rudolph or Kenny Pickett, Russell Wilson's too good to pass up here for Pittsburgh.
I just wanted to see how much he's actually asking for. That's the main thing. Even though he has $85 million coming to him, regardless, I still believe that he's going to be asking for quite a bit of money, and we cannot give him, for the Steelers cannot give him that quite type of money.
You're correct.
And plus, I do believe we're trying to find a young quarterback and not almost a 35 or 30 plus year old quarterback right now. Because I think what the Pittsburgh Steelers are trying to do is trying to find a young quarterback to be their quarterback for years to come, like we always have for many, many years. I mean, look at all the quarterbacks that had the longevity with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Terry Bradshaw. I would probably say Neil O'Connell for a little bit. Ben Roethlisberger.
Neil O'Donnell led you guys to a Super Bowl. I mean,
exactly. I think he was there for quite a few years. Even though he sucked, Tommy Maddox, Cordell Stewart. I mean, those are just the type of guys that we look for, trying to find a longevity quarterback. And I don't think that Russell Wilson wants to be with a team for a long period of time. So that's why I think that the Steelers are going to bypass Russell Wilson, because he won't be there for a very long time. And that's why I think, even it's sad to say, I really don't want Russell Wilson, but he's a young quarterback. He has a lot of potential that he can work with. Like I said, we just got a new offensive coordinator. Just thinking how I just want to see Kenny Pickett with a good offensive coordinator, because he had a lot of backlash the way that he sucked last year. But if you look at the offensive coordinator, I mean, what else do you want from a young quarterback? A young quarterback needs a teacher to actually succeed in the league. And Matt Canada was not a good teacher. He was not a good offensive coordinator. I hate how he gets the backlash of how Kenny Pickett was horrible. We had the worst offensive coordinator in the league at that time.
It's true.
And like I keep saying this, the week after he left, Kenny Pickett, he didn't throw an interception. He had 1 touchdown or 2 touchdowns, and he over 300 passing yards. Like, what else do you want? And then he got injured the next week. Like I don't know what else people want. I think everyone forgets that Matt Canada was involved in that situation. How horrible Kenny Pickett was is because of Matt Canada. So I want to see how Kenny Pickett runs with this new offensive coordinator, Arthur Smith. And like I said, he put Ryan Tannehill as one of the best quarterbacks in that league that one year. Led him to playoff games. Like, what else? And like, he was even like he had the best running game. He had the best passing game. He had one of the, like I keep saying, he had the best offense in the league. Like, what else? It's like the only thing that the Titans didn't have that year was the defense. And you see the Steelers have one of the best defenses in the league. if everyone is healthy, because this year or last year we had a lot of injuries. Mika Fitzpatrick was in and out for quite a while. All of our linemen, or not alignment, but our linebackers was basically injured. We had to go back and get Miles Jack for a while. We had to sign him and just everything. We had to get people that haven't played for a year to come back to us so we can have linebackers because all of ours was injured. So and then our corners got injured. It's just I don't know. I just hate seeing how people talk bad about Kenny Pickett. It's like I want to see him with this new offensive coordinator, see how he runs with it, and if it goes south, then we'll get that. We'll sign a quarterback just in case. Say for like Justin Fields, like I said, a young quarterback. Have him as a backup for now, and then we'll go from there.
Sounds like JB has some faith in his boy Kenny Pickett. I think my argument more so because I know Pittsburgh has a team ready to win now. And Kenny Pickett's been around in the league for a while. He hasn't really splashed yet. He's struggled a lot. Like you said, a lot of that could be Matt Canada. It could be circumstance, a lot of injuries. But they do have an 1,000-yard rusher, and they have an 1,000-yard receiver. Two of the best in the game at Harris at running back and Pickens at receiver. I just felt like he should have improved a little more by this point, and Russ would just be an improvement. I think otherwise, for a Steelers team ready to compete for a Super Bowl now, they need a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. They have a great team. They need a quarterback. I just think the opportunity is too great with Russ. I'm not giving up on Kenny Pickett. I'm starting to kind of believe he's just not the guy for Pittsburgh. It's been 3 years. Jordan Love did it in
3 years with Matt Canada, or 2.5.
It's true. I guess get caught up because more so I seen what Jordan Love did in one season. Now, of course, he had a couple years to sit back and draft develop under Aaron Rodgers. Kenny Pickett, that's how Green Bay does things. That's how we do it in Green Bay. Kenny Pickett didn't have that chance really, so I'll give him that. I just see too much with Russ.
A way better offensive coordinator to go with.
Well, Matt LaFleur calls the plays in Green Bay, so
yeah.
But yeah, Matt LaFleur is a good coach. He's a good coach.
So,
hey, we have different takes on that. I like that. That was a good topic. Speaking of that, I don't think we'll see if Casual Talk can top that this week. That was a good debate. Me and JB totally disagreed on that. So, JB, Casual Talk this week. You had some recent NBA games occur, my friend, where I'm looking because the Golden State Warriors versus the Boston Celtics, and last night the Celtics and the Cavaliers. Recently, on the 3rd, this past Sunday, you had the Golden State Warriors lose 88 to 140, and last night the Celtics blew a late lead and lost to the Cavaliers by 1 late in Cleveland. JB, we're going to talk about those two games. What's your synopsis on those two games, JB? Which one's the worst loss? Blowing the lead or getting blown out of your building?
I think is getting blown out in your building because you got the home court and you just get destroyed in it. It's like not even. Like Curry went 2 for 13, 0 for 9.
The game was in Boston though. They got blown off the court. Golden State did.
Yeah. But with that, Steph Curry had a horrible game. Basically everyone had a horrible game. It's like the team in all, they did 39% on the field. 17% at 3-point. Even at 62% in free throws. They had 17 turnovers and 13 personal fouls. And then if you looked at Boston at that game with the Golden State Warriors game, they had 19 personal fouls, only 7 turnovers. They shot 81% at the free throw, 51% at the 3-point, and 55% in the field. So Golden State Warriors had a horrible night that night. I think this was on a Sunday game.
Correct. Yeah.
So yeah,
Sunday it was the third.
Yep. So I mean, it was horrible. It was horrible for the for the Golden State Warriors that day. Like I said, the only person that actually no one actually did good in that game. Probably the only person that actually went over double digits was Moody, Robinson, and Quiznos. I can't even say his last name, but I'm gonna say it. Keep saying it. I am going to fudge a lot of last names because I am horrible. So Quiznos is Lester Quiznos. That's the guy. That's the guy I'm talking about. He had 17 points. So, and those are the only 3 players that actually was in double digits. Like Steph Curry had 4, Klay Thompson had 6, Kuminga had 6, Draymond had 6. I mean, those are that's your starting 5 right there, and that could barely even. That's not even 30 points, barely 30, or even at 30. And then, like I said, Boston, they shot lights out. They did everything. But yeah. And then you want to go to the Cavaliers and the Celtics. The Cavaliers. There's probably going to be one name that's probably going to haunt them, probably for the remainder of the season. And you know what that name is?
Go for it, my friend.
Dean Wade.
D Wade. This
Dean
generation.
Wade. He
I got
had
the real D Wade right.
23 points that game.
Don't let him confuse you though with the real D Wade.
Dean. Not Dwayne. Dean. Mr.
That's right.
Dean Wade. He went 8 for 11, 6 for 9. But most of these points he had in the fourth quarter. Yeah, in the fourth quarter. With, I think, about 6 minutes left to go. And yeah, Dean Wade just lit it up. And then Boston, slowly came back. And over that foul that happened, I think it was one of the ways that trying to get Boston to win. But that was not a foul.
I agree.
Whoever the ref that was that overturned that call, congratulations. You got that award right there. But yeah, that was an amazing call by that ref. He said, "Screw it. I'm going to call this the right way." So thank you to whoever that ref was. Thank you for actually making the right call. It was just basically Jason Tatum went up for a shot. They thought he got pushed or something, but no, he just landed wrong, tried to get the foul and didn't get it because he was not touched at all. So yeah, good job to that ref for overturning that for overturning that call. But yeah, Mr. Dean Wade, though, he stole that show with less than 6 minutes left. 6 minutes. He brought him back. He brought him all the way from over a 20 point deficit. He even outscored the Celtics team in the fourth quarter. In the fourth quarter, Boston only had 17 points to the Celtics 34. So yeah. What's your take on it?
So I have to start thing. I was letting you finish up there. 18. 18 is a big number for one reason. That's how many points Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and Chris Paul scored combined. Combined against the Boston Celtics. 4 points. 18 points. They scored 88 points as a team. I went through and defended them all week last week on our topic on who would go farther, the Lakers or the Warriors. And I'm still defending that. Here's why. One game. Golden State was just off a 3-game winning streak. So it's not like they've been struggling all year, and they struggled against the team with the best record in the league, Boston. So I'm not going to overreact. They're coming off a 3-game win streak. They play Milwaukee tonight. So we're going to learn a lot about Golden State tonight in their first game since that game. So they've had a time to rest. They're an older team. Again, I said last week, I don't think they're title contenders. I think Boston is better than them. At 52 points, that's bad. That's damaging. It's slightly concerning, but I'm not going to wave the red flag yet. I want to say they're still comfortably in the play-in right now. I think they get in the playoffs from the play-in. I think the Lakers do as well. I think both teams do. I'm not going to overreact here. I think Golden State will be overall just fine, but definitely something to monitor. Now, looking at the Cavs Celtics, Boston did all those nasty things to the Warriors. They ran them off the floor. The Celtics couldn't miss. That was an amazing game. That was Boston putting the league on notice. It really was. It was Boston putting the league on notice. We just beat Golden State by 52 points. But I've never doubted what Boston can do in the regular season. It's always the playoffs with them. So then I look at the game after. Boston puts the league on notice. And then they go out there and crap the bed late in the game against the Cavaliers, who didn't have Donovan Mitchell in the game, by the way.
Or Max
and
Strus.
let a or Max Strus. So they let a Dean Wade go out there. I've watched Dean Wade. He's a good role player, but he's no star. He shouldn't have done what he done. And you let him go out there and do that against you on national television because it was a nationally televised game. Gotta be better than that. I'm also, though, not going to overreact with that. Neither game should be overreacted with. Here's the whole point in this. Every team's vulnerable. Cleveland's the third best seeded in the East right now, only half a game behind number 2 Milwaukee. Milwaukee's shown weaknesses. Boston just shown a weakness against Cleveland. Boston fails in the playoffs a lot, too. Cleveland's a young team. They've shown some weakness. Mitchell gets hurt a lot. You have Miami in there, of course. They're starting to kind of creep back up there, so monitor them. Philly's struggling. Out west, the Timberwolves and Thunder are young. You have a lot of question marks across the whole league. Anyone can win. Speaking of that moves away for Miami. Watch them. That's all I want to say. Neither game should be overreacted with. It's regular season basketball. But I don't think there's truly a dominant team. Not in the NBA this year. Even Denver's lost some games this season. They're not even a top 2 rated team in their West right now. They're number 3. So every team's kind of shown some weakness. I think it's a good thing for the NBA that you have kind of spread competition. There's not one team wrecking everyone else.
Right.
That's my take on it. The league is as... Me and you remember? Back when Kobe dominated forever. Back when LeBron and the Heat dominated. The Warriors dominated. We're used to dominant teams being dominant. There's a lot of clarity in the NBA right now. A lot of teams have a chance, and I like to see that. It's better than seeing the same thing over and over.
Right. And I do agree. But with everything else is coming, it's like you have to keep that momentum, especially um being up by 20 in the fourth quarter, and you had a chance to even win the game, and you decide to have a role playing player of Dean Wade showing you up in the fourth quarter, outscoring you guys in the fourth quarter. I mean, that's, I don't know. I think that's just the Celtics' way of, and like you said, it's one of the weaknesses. But I mean, if you're up by that much, I mean, at least finish it. It's like
Dean Wade averages
Go ahead.
he averages 5.4 points a game, 5.4 points a game, 4 rebounds a game. I'm not saying he's awful. He's a role player. They let him go off. Yeah.
Especially in the fourth quarter, which you had the chance to win. Even you were at 20 plus points, and we seen what you did with the Golden State Warriors and a few games before the Celtics game. I mean, we've seen how dominant you can be. I mean, it's like you beat the Nets 136-86, the Sixers 117-99, and then the Warriors 140-88. And then out of all the teams, when you they don't have Donovan Mitchell, they don't have Max Strus. I mean, you've seen how Max Strus can play. He shoots. He can shoot lights out if he wants to. He can go 30 for 30 if he wanted to.
He won a game off a half-court shot a few weeks ago, recently.
Mm-hmm. So I still don't believe we should have got rid of him, but that's me.
He wanted too much money.
Yeah, but I mean, he's a great player, but you didn't have those two, and you had the game in the bag. You outscored him all 3 quarters, and then out of all the quarters, you only had 17 points. Like, come on. At least have the winning record or the winnings still climb up, because you had a chance. You had a chance to win, and you guys blew it over a role playing player that only averaged 5 points a game, and he's put 23 on your guys' head. Most of his points was in the fourth quarter.
And he's been in the league a while now. His career high is 6. He's a role player. I'm not saying he's horrible. He deserves to be in the league. He's a decent player, but 23 points he went off for. 23 points. And clutch time on national TV. That's my thing.
With less than 6 minutes left and having a putback dunk, multiple threes, driving the paint. It's like he did it all. Like he did it all. And just with a role player out of all people on the Cavs, on the Cavaliers, that's the person who you didn't want to guard.
You know, I'm going to make a prediction here because they didn't even have Donovan Mitchell. Garland played a relatively good game. He had 16 points, if I recall. He had a double-double. I think it was 11 assists, if I recall correctly.
Yep.
But they didn't even have Donovan Mitchell. I think in the playoffs, when, however you want to look at it, if Cleveland plays Boston in the playoffs, which a lot of people hope they do, they probably will. They're both top 3 teams in the West. JB, I think that's a 7-game series. I truly do.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a 7-game series. Cleveland's better than people think they are.
I mean, the records shows it themselves. They're 40-21 right now.
They won a game on national TV without Spider Mitchell. Clutch time late with role players.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's anyone's game. I think it's truly anyone's game this year.
It is. But not like I said, you have like we've seen how you play. We've seen how Boston plays. If they have a big lead, they show dominance, and I do believe in the Cleveland game, they did not show dominance at all. So
I agree. I don't think either game, going back to the Celtics smashing the crap out of the Warriors, I don't think we should overreact to either one. Miami had a long losing streak this year too. We've since bounced back. So I mean, it happens in the NBA. We talk about it. I don't think we need to overreact, but I think both need to be monitored. Boston showed some weakness, and we need to monitor Golden State. 52 points is a lot. So
yep,
both things kind of monitor, but I don't think overreact for either.
I agree.
With that, me and JB are going to continue our basketball talk. JB, some great news, my friend. This is a topic I've been looking forward to all day. The Purdue Boilermakers, my friend, last night defeated number 12 rated Illinois 77-71. JB, with that, Purdue is now back-to-back Big Ten outright champions in the regular season. JB, what's your thoughts on Illinois' defeat to Purdue last night, and Purdue now being two-time back-to-back Big Ten champions in the regular season? What's your thoughts?
I mean, for being back to back Big Ten champions, it's no shocker. I mean, like once again, we're Big Ten champions. Yay! Just wait until March Madness. I keep saying this. We keep saying this. Wait until March Madness. It's going to be it's going to be a show. I mean, yeah, we got a trophy. Big Ten champions. Cool. Congratulate. Yeah. But
And Purdue's bragging about it on their social media. They were posting stuff that now we have 26 Big Ten championships. That is the most all time in the Big Ten. So Purdue's also on top of that bragging about it.
But how many champions have we won in the March Madness? How many have we went all the way? Go ahead, answer.
This was a sports fact of the day today because I knew we would talk about this tonight. It's 0.
0. The big fat 0. And we think it's like, yay, the most Big Ten's champions. It's like, cool. Guess what? No one cares about those trophies. No one cares about that. Everyone cares about March Madness because it is madness. Everything happens. You win or you go home. There is no second chances. You win or you go home. And Purdue always goes home. It's just we had a good team last year. We should have went all the way last year. And now I would say we even have a better team this year. And now since Zach Edey he says he's going after this season, he's going to going for the draft. And he's a top prospect. No shocker there. So when he's gone, guess what? Probably all of our starters, like last year, except for Edey, went to the draft. Like, come on, like this is I feel like this is the make or break it for everyone, on the players and the coach. Matt Painter, this is the make or break year. If you don't make it, if you don't win anything, then it's over. It's literally over. Like he's not going to be a head coach anymore. I don't think this probably be the last time we actually see Purdue being great. in my opinion. So it's either we win it all, or it's a no go, or it's just it's going to be over at this point.
Or win or get fired for Matt Painter. JB's take is what it sounds like.
Yep, win or go home.
And I agree with you, but I do for different reasons. Matt Painter, Purdue, they have an outstanding basketball program. I'm gonna start with some nice things. I am. Because I'm the one out of me and you, as always, to kind of get hyped up for Purdue. I kind of lose vision of what they've historically done in the past. I always kind of get my hopes up. And I'm doing it again because Matt Painter has now won the Big Ten title in 09, 2017, 2019, 2023, 2024. The Big Ten. That's a lot. 26 all-time Big Ten champions, most all-time, back-to-back this year. That's impressive. Purdue's an outstanding basketball team. They really always have been with Matt Painter. Now here it comes. In the regular season, he is easily, in my opinion, probably one of the greatest coaches of all time in the regular season. And he has to be one of the worst playoff coaches I've ever seen. To be as great as Matt Painter is in the regular season and to go in a tournament year after year and to fail and fail. I get it. You're not going to win every year. Stuff happens. But you're not a rookie coach. You've been around for over 10 years. And we haven't won a single national championship. Never even been there. So, it's an embarrassment. And that's why Indiana Hoosiers basketball, which is not even close to being as relevant as Purdue, and it hasn't been since our fandom in our lifetimes, really, Purdue's always been more relevant, but they're less popular. Because Indiana, back in their great day, they actually could win in the championship round. They didn't choke like Purdue does. Even Butler's been there more recent than Purdue ever has even been close. Butler made it and lost years ago. Purdue will always be a backseat team to Indiana so long as we choke in the tournament. It's now or never. No more excuses. We have to win. Braden Smith is the Purdue single game assist leader all time now. So congratulations to him. I've seen on that. He's had an outstanding season, Braden Smith as well. I'm on record as saying that, but it's now or never. Zach Edey, 28 points. We've had a great game against Illinois. But it's regular season. I need to see this in the tournament. I'm nervous.
Yep, just it's a trending thing. We lose in the first round or in the second.
This is the best team we've had. I said it a few weeks ago. This is the best team we've had, and probably ever. So I think we do have a very good chance this year. I don't expect us to lose round 1, round 2, but we have to win it all. We do. I don't want to lose in those Sweet 16. That's not good enough for me anymore. Getting to the Sweet 16, I'm over it. It's national championship or bust. I don't want to see Elite 8 and good job Purdue. No, not good job Purdue. It's now or never. I don't think we lose first, second round. We're too good.
I hope not. I mean, we were too good last year, and look what happened.
I know, but we got Zach Edey, Braden Smith. I think they're good enough to overcome Matt Painter's chokiness. We're just too good of a basketball team to lose the first couple rounds, I think.
I hope so.
I worry about us in the big games, like the Elite 8, Sweet 16, those type of games. I worry about that. JB's over there smiling because he knows I'm preparing myself for certain doom and disappointment.
Because
I hope not.
It is a trend.
It is, but
it's been. I feel like it's almost been. How long has it been since we went to the Sweet 16? Because we never went to the Elite 8. I don't think.
We have before, but it's been a hot minute.
Yeah, I feel like it's been almost a decade since we even.
It has been over. It has. We've made the Sweet 16 a few times. We have, but we haven't been in the Elite 8 in a while.
Yep. So. I'm just saying it's.
I know, and I don't have any argument against it. That's why I don't have anything to say, because my fandom gets the best of me sometimes, and they truly are that good of a team. Look at their rankings. Look what they've done to everyone all season long. They They have the best draft prospect in the draft, in my opinion. I'm not super familiar with what we have internationally going on right now, but in the college game, Zach Edey's definitely number one pick. It's not even close.
Mhm.
We have Braden Smith, who's an outstanding guard to match him. We have a bunch of other great players as well. We have a good team. We have a good coach in the regular season. Trends have to break and die eventually. I hope and I think it's this year. You're right, because
I
the
hope so.
trend is we're going to lose.
I really hope so, but it's I don't know. Matt Painter always chokes, always does something stupid. Like for the like this year's. I mean, there's games that we should have won, and he like basically like choked. He literally choked, and
And
it
it's always
was
against teams. It's against teams that aren't ranked, like
yep,
Ohio State.
yep, and they're horrible.
In basketball, yes,
Yeah, I wonder what happens if we face Michigan or somebody. They might win. At this point, they're unranked.
we beat Michigan recently, so we're good. We're good. We're good.
Well, I'm just saying though. Again, if we face them again, guess what happens? Oh no, Michigan will win. And then we hear all these Michigan fans, look what we did. I still, it's annoying to me. Anyways,
But there's no way we're going to lose first round this year. It can't. It's not.
I hope not. Not to some random team that we never even heard of.
Texas Academy Schoolboys Club, something like that.
That's the college in New Jersey. Out of all teams, I hadn't even heard of them, and all of a sudden they come in here, and all of a sudden they beat a number one ranked team, number one ranked team coming into into March Madness, and then just it's I don't want to get any more because it's that year
I know.
just literally that year literally triggered me. It's like
I know. Yeah, I know.
and it's especially with there was like no number one ranked teams in that year, and that's the other thing that like I don't want to say it triggered me, but it just really baffled me, especially out of all teams. Purdue losing first round. I forgot who else was last year that was ranked one. I think they lost in the third round. Like most of the better teams that were like at high ranks didn't even make it to the Sweet 16. So, I mean that whole year was just wild. I mean that's why they call it March Madness, I guess, because everything went to madness. But
Wow.
I just hope this year it's
JB with the dad joke.
I but yeah, with everything else, I hope that it's different this year. But yeah, I hope you're right. But it's just I feel history repeats itself especially when it comes to Matt Painter. That's how I'm feeling. History repeats itself, and he's gonna suck.
You know, I hope not.
I hope not either.
However, that's all we have for today's Unbiased Hard Take. JB, anything else you want to talk about, my friend? We talked about a lot today. A little bit of football, a little bit of basketball, a lot of Purdue.
Really hope that Kenny Pickett actually does really good with this offensive coordinator. Especially our GM basically said in a press conference that Kenny Pickett's still our guy, and I still believe Kenny Pickett is our guy. It's just I want to see him deal or be with this new offensive coordinator. It's like in the NBA, it's everyone's game now. at this point. And then Purdue, hopefully history does not repeat itself, and hopefully Purdue will actually go farther in the March Madness. But yeah, once again, congratulations to Purdue, our Purdue. They are once again Big Ten champions. Woo! Yeah, yay. But hopefully we go further in the March Madness. I want to see. I mean, everyone wants to see their team go and win it all, but I really want to see either the Final Four or just winning it all. That's what I want to see. But if I don't see any of those, Matt Painter's gone. He's gone. That's all I got.
I'm a little stricter than you. I don't even want to see Final Four. You got to get the national championship game. You got to take Purdue somewhere they've never been before. So, what I have is the Miami Heat recently announced they signed Patty Mills. Patty Mills is a 35-year-old player who has averaged 2.7 points a game for the Hawks this season. Again, probably some bench depth, maybe some veteran leadership in the locker room, whatnot. You're looking for a decent possible role player who's been around the league. So, not a big move. Just wanted to let you guys know that. Again, like, subscribe, hit the bell. Like us on Facebook. Check out the Sports Fact of the Day. Today's Sports Fact of the Day was Purdue has never won a national championship. That has to change. I'll end that there. It's now or never for Matt Painter or hit the door. That's all I got. As always, go Pat, go. Let's go Heat. Bowler up, baby.
And I'll just end on this. Like I said, Patty Mills, or Miami Heat signed Patty Mills. I do believe it's just a veteran move. So even though he had a great career with the Spurs for a while, so a great veteran leader. But that's all I got. Let's go Heat. Let's go Steelers. And boiler up, I want to see this championship. But that's all we got for this week. Tune in next week for the Unbiased Hard Take.